Hello, I'm Rebecca of Pocketful of Poseys. Today's video is a little bit of a departure from my usual. I am not making something for myself. I am doing a little experiment because I'm going to be trying to put together some costumes for an upcoming production at my work, and I wanted to see if I could take some thrifted or used, if I could take those and turn them into something approaching historical-ish. I started out with a very small dress that I bought on eBay with a lot of used kind of prom type dresses, and it said it was used, but I don't think it had ever been worn, but it's a very small size. I think it might be a US size 2, so pretty small. But I figured it might work for some of the younger students because it's not super long either, because I don't know if it was a full length dress or anything. I think it might have been like T length, but maybe it could work for a younger student who's not as tall and who is smaller than some of the older students. But I wanted to experiment anyway, so I figured start with the smallest thing because that would take less time and use less material. So that's what I did. I'm really excited to share this process with you, and I hope it gets you excited for possibly revamping some thrifted or used items that you might find. So let's see how it goes. Here we go. First things first, I removed the spaghetti straps and ruffles, and I plan to reuse the ruffles, but I put them somewhere and I can't find them. When I started this project, I didn't have a small dress form, so I traced the bodice back and front to give me a starting place. I will be drafting a bodice to be mounted on top of the existing bodice so that I can utilize the zipper. Because the dress didn't have sleeves or shoulder seams, I added on to the traced pattern shapes to make the bodice more historical looking. There wasn't really a plan, just adjusting things until it looked right to me. got my bodice piece. I think I'm going to need to make this curve a little bit smaller, or bring the shoulder out a little and go up like that, because I think that armhole is going to be, not sure yet, so we'll see. I began pinning the lining layer to the dress. I folded the front bodice side seam over the back side seam. I sewed the lining on with the machine. The shoulders looked short, so I decided to cut out additional shoulder strap pieces. I pinned the straps on so that the raw edges would be facing up, because they will eventually be covered by the fashion fabric. I found a free pattern online for a blouse that had a simple sleeve the length that I wanted. I will link it below in the description. It's the In the Folds Peppermint Ruffle Sleeve Top. A visit from Thor, and I was ready to set the sleeves in. For my fashion fabric, I used a pink satin that was in my stash. I only used stash fabrics and trim for this project. The only thing I bought was the lot of dresses from eBay initially. I wanted the bodice to look like it had a stomacher, so I traced out the pattern for that and a new bodice front using the bodice front pattern that I had made previously. After lining the stomacher with canvas and turning it right side out, I started arranging the trim, my favorite part. Before I attached the outer bodice to the lining, I basted the seam allowance of the lining to the outside. The seam allowance of the fashion fabric and lining will be sandwiched in between the two layers. I also added some additional lace on the neckline of the lining just to give a little extra floof. I hand sewed the bodice fronts to the stomacher piece. I definitely could have used the machine, but didn't for whatever reason. Now the task of attaching the outer bodice to the lining. I made sure not to pin and sew all the way to the waist at the back opening so that I could still attach the skirt later. I sewed the bodice to the lining by hand. Onto the skirt. I used 2 full width panels and sewed up the center back, leaving an opening where the zipper is on the dress. Next, I pleated and pinned the skirt to the lining of the bodice at the waist. Okay, so I have attached the bodice, the outer bodice. Now I'm going to attach the sleeves. Now this would have been easier if I hadn't already done the lining, the sleeve linings. I don't know why I did that. Should have done, put the lining in the sleeve and then put them both on at the same time. That would have been easier. But hey, we're learning as we go here, and this has definitely been an experiment. So I think as far as it goes, it's going pretty well. I'm just going to sew these sleeve seams and then attach the sleeves. I didn't attach this outer to the lining at the side seams so that I could still attach the sleeves. And then the sleeves will go on, and I will attach the top of the sleeves to the lining and then put the shoulder piece on top of that, much like the 18th century dresses and gowns were made. So off we go. This is almost done, just some finishing work, hem, and more trim left to do. It's a little not perfect. I feel like, there's some wrinkles, but I think I can always undo these and fold it up a little bit more, but for the most part I think it is pretty good. Definitely needs some ironing, and I need to put the shoulder piece on, so I'm going to do that next. Put the shoulder piece on and then hem it and give it a good ironing, and it's pretty good to go. Okay, the final step after hemming and finishing to attach the trim, I made these little hip pads, and I just stuffed them full of cabbage. Not real cabbage. A little snack. No, with fabric scraps, and I pinned them to the waist, and I'm just going to tack them on. I just kind of made them up spur of the moment, but I think they give a nice look. Not a huge hip, but a nice look. So let me show you what that looks like. Just gives a little extra to the side there. Have you ever done a thrift flip or a fast fashion flip? Let me know down in the comments. So, could I have just made a whole 18th century-ish ensemble for less time, or at least equal time and effort? Probably. But I think it's a good way to use things that might otherwise end up in a landfill or just thrown away or whatever, and it's something that can be hopefully reused for different theater productions as we go forward. Our theater department at work is just starting. We've had some acting performances, acting classes, and acting full-scale productions. I did some costumes last year for one of those, and this is our first time where we're going to do a musical, and hopefully we will be doing at least one a year going forward. So it would be good to have a stash of costumes that could be reused for different productions. So I think using already used clothes or thrifted clothes or fast fashion clothes that people are trying to get rid of, I think it works really well. And so, you know, is it historically accurate? Of course not. But again, these are theater costumes, so I'm really not concerned about historical accuracy. Now, this one, I definitely did more historically accurate things. I did a lot more hand sewing than I probably will on other ones, but I wanted to just kind of see how it would go, and I enjoy hand sewing, so it was fine with me. But definitely I will be doing hems and all of that kind of stuff on the machine going forward for any other costumes that I make. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload, you can hit that little bell icon. If you'd like to support the channel further, I have a Kofi account, and that is linked down below. I will see you again on our next sewing adventure. Bye!